Good morning, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for the 9th of November, 2012. A little bit of activity to talk about. The hurricane season not over yet, and I do think that we're going to see at least one more named storm, whether it's purely tropical or has subtropical characteristics where the wind field is more spread out and other factors. We'll have to wait and see, but this part of the Atlantic Basin this time of year can get pretty active in the subtropics almost. This is the deep tropics down here, so you'll see. I'm going to show you the GFS over the next week, and you'll see a couple of systems spring up. First of all, we do have this area that the Hurricane Center has given a 20% chance of some development. An upper-level low-pressure system, mid-level low-pressure, interacting with a surface trough. Basically, this means that there is some energy sitting out here over fairly warm water. The water temperature's out this way, still around 80 degrees or so. A visible satellite shot. You can tell pretty good convection associated with the system. There's a surface low tucked in here, cold air aloft, helping to foster the thunderstorm development, giving it a nice unstable atmosphere to work with. I don't think this is going to do much in and of itself, but the remains of this surface trough out here, this front, and this energy, I think are going to converge to where we do get something to develop in this region, and that could be the next named storm. Remember, we're up to 19. We only have 2 more to go, and then we exhaust the list for 2012. Off the southeast coast and Florida into the Gulf, pretty cold air, cold and dry air has come off what we call cold air advection, or the lateral or sideways movement of air. Convection is the upward motion of air, and advection is the sideways movement of air, to put it in simplistic terms. And you can see very cold air coming off the continent and giving beautiful skies over the southeast, but a little chilly today. It's going to warm up. Wait until next week. Boy, I tell you, especially for areas hit hard by Sandy and then the nor'easter, you're going to have some wonderful temperatures to finally really ramp up recovery efforts. And that will give people a boost in spirits. It really will. The warmth. It'll almost feel like a springtime after all of this winter-ish storminess. Alright, so let's take a look at the GFS. This is valid tonight, and this is our surface map. And you can see there's a little kink in the isobars down here, a little small area of low pressure. Here's the trailing front as the nor'easter goes on out to the northeast. The storm system moves on away. 48 hours out. This is valid on Saturday night. A little bit more convective activity associated with the system out in the eastern Atlantic. But watch what goes on here. We're going to see sort of a convergence or a piling up of the air in this region, and I think something's going to try to form out of that. At 72 hours, you can just start to see the makings of that, the beginning of it right here, well to the south and east of Bermuda. And just a matter of time, I think, by day 4 and day 5, a pretty solid area of low pressure starts to develop just to the southeast of Bermuda, sitting over warm water temperatures in the upper 70s to about 80, and I guess the atmosphere is going to try to crank out one more system. Basically what happens is a lot of this energy comes around from the system out here and mixes in with this old frontal boundary and takes advantage of that warm water, and bingo, I think we're going to get our next name storm, the V storm for this year. We only have V and W, and then we're done. So at day 6, there it is. Might not be purely tropical. In between day 5 and 6, there's a little window of opportunity for it to develop, and it might get a name, especially if it is over that warmer water. So we may end up with 20 named storms before all is said and done. Then at day 7, that little storm system rides up and over this big area of high pressure that's sitting out over the eastern Atlantic, and yet another low-pressure area tries to form. This area through here, like I said, is this strange breeding ground in the off-season, and the late part of the season, and even in the off-season, like I mentioned, December, January. Once in a while, you just get this period of time where these weak subtropical low-pressure areas develop, and they are potent enough to get a name that the National Hurricane Center and the Tropical Analysis Forecast branch down at the National Hurricane Center will analyze these features, and, you know, there's shipping interest out there. These are not going to affect the United States. There's just really no way for them to get over. that far west, but they are of interest to shipping lanes, and it does show that all of this warm water that's sitting out here across the basin still has enough energy to produce these storms. So maybe, just maybe, before the end of the season, we will use up all 21 names on the list. We shall see, but nothing threatening land. No worries about that whatsoever. Have yourselves a good rest of your Friday. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, my website. Check it out sometime. Always a pleasure to do these videos for you on Hurricane and Hurricane HD. I hope you've learned something from them over the year. I'll be back with another one tomorrow.